Welcome back. This is going to be the first of two videos where we build the rigging arrangement for our switch room. So in this first one I'm just going to build the lower rigging up to the spreader bar, and the second one we'll do the rigging above that and bring in the crane hook. Now when starting to look at what rigging we need for a job like this, let's first look at the weights that we're dealing with. So we know from the PDF drawing this building weighs 31,486 kgs, but because this C of G is significantly offset, I want to check what weight will be on these two lifting lugs, this one and the one on the other side. Now I can do that by the following method. I'm going to take a measurement from the centre of the lifting lug, the hole, to the C of G, and then I'm going to do another measurement from this lifting lug across to that lifting lug, to the centre of the hole, which gives me those measurements. Now I'm going to show you the first look at the crane and rigging calcs spreadsheet that you'll be getting with this training. And one of the tabs on there is a load share calculator. So in here we'll put that weight, 31,486. Distance A is from the lift point to the centre of gravity, so that's 4891. And distance B is 7771. Alright, so what we can see is we've got about 11.7 tonne on one end and 19.8 tonne on the other. Okay, so 19.8 tonne, let's just call that 20 tonnes, so there's about 10 tonne each side. We also have to account for sling tension, which will be generally around the 1.14. 10 times 1.14, about 11, let's say 11.5 tonne tension. And we don't want to work chains up at 100% if we don't have to. So let's have a look at what size chain we could use here. So we're going to say there's let's round it up to 12 tonne tension through the chain. So we could use 20mm grade 80, but that could be working quite hard. We could use 22mm grade 80, that would have a nice margin on it. If we come down and look at 100 grade chains, and we would still be using 20mm 100 grade versus 22mm 80 grade. So let's make it easier for the riggers. Always try and do that. We'll use a bit lighter chains, so we're going to use 20mm chains. Now the next problem we've got, to keep slings at 60 degrees, you take a distance from the furthest lift lug to the centre of gravity, and we need to double this number, and that's how long the sling needs to be as a minimum. So if that's 4.9, it means we need a sling at 9.8. Now generally chain sets, you'll find most of them are 6, a lot are 8, but there's very few that are say 10 metre. So how could we do that? We could use chains end for end. Alright, so if we have a 2-leg set of the 20mm grade 80, or you might have 2 single legs, we'll leave one at full length and shorten another. Okay, so first thing we're going to put on is the shackles. Now these, if we go back to that PDF, you'll see the lifting lugs are rated for 17 tonne, so we'll be using 17 tonne shackles. So from the rigging directory, I'm going to first call in a front view of a 17 tonne shackle and place that with the left and 1, 2, 3 rights. Then I'm going to draw a line. This represents the chain leg, and I'm going to make this 6 metres long. Right, then I'm going to put the oblong on it. Remember, we're using this chain end for end. And the top part, top leg, I'm going to make 4 metres long. Okay, then we draw a circle from the centre of the shackle pin, centre of the lift lug, up to the top of that leg. Now we can copy what we've just done from the centre of that circle to the other lifting lug. We can get rid of these dimensions for the time being. We're going to draw a line now from centre of gravity up through there. Now this leg will stay at that length to get to the centre of gravity, but this leg needs to be shortened. So the easy way to do that, draw a circle from the center of this circle to that intersection. Then click on that line, grab that grip and bring it down to that intersection. Then we can get rid of that circle. Now this is a 31.5 tonne load, so a 30 tonne spreader bar is not enough. We'll use a 50 tonne bar, so I'm going to get, which means we'll have 25 tonne shackles. I'll get a 25 tonne shackle front view. Oh, now I'll just do that again and show you what I did there. I bring the shackle in, all the shackles come in looking like this, the right way up. So what I did, I left click, I did 2 rights, and then for the last left click I rotated the shackle, and then I left clicked. Now I'm going to move that shackle from that midpoint to this intersection. Okay, now I can use rotate slings, our custom command over here. I need to click on the shackle, that chain leg, the oblong and the top leg. They'll rotate from the center of this circle. Take ortho off, so I'm now attached. Now what I do here, I brush my cursor over the shackle and you'll see that little green cross. That shows me where the center is. And that's where the sling will go. Okay, now the UCS still has the X up the screen, so I can just right click now to bring the rotate command back. Select that shackle, that leg, that oblong and that leg. Confirm with the right click, hold your cursor close on that circle, get center point, and then we can bring that leg around to there. Then we can get rid of these circles, and don't forget to put your UCS back to World UCS. Okay. Now we need an end view of the spreader bar. That's in your spreader bar folder. It's called a spreader 50 end, and it's attached at the center of the lower lift lug. So I can drop it onto the midpoint of that shackle with a left and 3 rights. I'll double click this line and we'll turn that into a center line. Okay, so that's that view of the rigging. Now we want to do this view. So to position the spreader bar correctly over that end view, I'll draw a line off the bottom lifting lug on the bar. And I'm going just past the center of the building. Then I'm going to draw a line from the center of the building. I'll go just past that line. So now we need to determine what length the spreader bar needs to be. So to do that, let's first measure the lifting lug center from there to there, and that's about 5.5 meters. Now a 6 meter spreader bar is not going to be enough. We really need something that's at least 1/2 meter longer either side, so we really need a bar that's 6.5 meters long minimum. Now in the rigging spreader bar folder, I have got some 50 ton spreader bars drawn up to 6 meters long. There are some other spreaders we could use, but we could just modify an existing spreader to keep things easier. So I'm going to bring in, this is a 6 meter bar, drop it on that intersection with a left, 3 rights. That line can go now. So this bar needs to be at least 6.5 meters long, but it is only 6. So we need to do a little bit of cheating here. We're going to explode that, explode that spreader bar. Then I'm going to use the stretch tool, and I'm going to stretch it 250 mil that way, and I'm going to stretch it again 250 mil that way. Now basically what you'll need to tell your client is that this spreader bar needs to be a minimum 6.5 meters long. It may end up being a different type of bar, in which case you can come back and do a revision on this rigging drawing. For the time being, we're going to do this. So this is now a collection of individual lines. So what we'll do, we'll draw a box around it. So no command active, left click, draw a box, left click, right click, group and group. Now we need the rigging there, so we'll go back to our rigging folder, get the side view of the 25 ton shackle, 1 left, 2 rights, and rotate with the left. Now we need to show the chain coming off here. Normally for chains I will only draw a line and just represent chain with that. Now if you want to, in your rigging folder there's another folder called chain bits. We could get a side view of a 20mm latch lock. So a left click, 2 rights and a rotate. Then we'll draw a line from there and we'll bring it down. I'm using my horizontal cursor line to line up with the oblong over there. So left click to finish that. Back to the rigging directory, we'll get the side view of the oblong. Left, 2 rights, rotate. Now we need a 17-ton shackle down here. Shackle 17 side, left, 3 rights. I'm going to use rotate slings to rotate that shackle to suit the angle on this leg, and I'll go up to here and use that as the finish point. Now the X is still up the screen, but I want to rotate these legs now, these items, sorry. So if I hit rotate slings again, see what happens to the X. It's going across, and I'll click rotate slings again. The X is now going down. Now I can select all of these objects, confirm, base point is there, and the point I want to rotate to is to that point. Now put your UCS back to world. We'll draw a line. This is the chain leg again, up to there. So you can see that bar really needs to be 6.5 to keep chains well off the walls. Okay, I don't need to redo all of that. I can simply use the mirror command. So I'll select the shackle, the chains and the oblong, the hook and the shackle, and this time I'll use the midpoint of the spreader bar as the mirror line. And that's got that line can now go. Okay, the other thing we'll do over here, just to make it clear, we'll draw a short line like that and another line like that. We draw an arc and we can make that look better with grip editing. And that just shows that that leg has been shortened and this leg will be the same. So now I can use mirror, select those, confirm, mirror line there, down and click. Alright, so that completes the lower rigging. In the next video we'll start doing the top one. Thank you.